And here we are for the final episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And can we just say, called it, first and foremost. Just adjust that slightly. I appear to have really dark eye again. I'm just going to fire up my laptop while we're talking. Yeah, absolute corker of an episode. Emotional is the best way to describe it. So look away now if you haven't seen it, and spoilers. But yes, we said from the off that it was going to turn out to be that the
power
broker was Sharon, and it was. So hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. Actually, to be fair, I think you said that before me. I think you're the one that said it. So that was an interesting payoff. And
to be fair, they didn't make a massive deal of like trying to misdirect us in like the earlier episodes, because like the episode where they first introduced Madripoor and Sharon, they kind of made it very clear at the very end where she's suddenly walking out of the shipping container yard into like a car, that there was obviously something more going on. So like the dots were there to follow, basically.
Yeah, I think it's still interesting that they. Excuse me. They didn't expect everyone to have connected said dots, though.
Yes.
From the way Charlie had the line, but you're the power broker. I can't remember the actual line, but it was very much designed to be a no moment when we just went,
my powers.
Yeah, so that was the thing. But of course, if you've not seen the mid-credits scene, again, look away. There's
that was a pearl clutching moment for you, actually. He audibly gasped.
No, I audibly gasped because I went, she's Agent Carter.
No, the credits bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm on about. Because they gave her old job back and said, welcome back, Agent Carter. And it's because she's Agent Carter, that's why I gasped.
But no, you gasped after that when a certain title card came up.
Oh, that!
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about Sharon still.
Okay.
Not that. We'll come to that. So the whole... they've now essentially... Okay, so... Well, it's the whole Hydra thing again, isn't it? Cut off one head, another several appear.
Excellent. It's funny because I was obviously downstairs having a cigarette after we finished watching before we do this, and literally thought went through my head is like, wow, Sharon's a very different person to her aunt.
Yeah, exactly. I did wonder if there was going to be a very, very made up appearance from Peg. Oh, what's the actress's name?
Hayley Atwell.
Yeah, from Hayley Atwell in that final scene.
Well, she was dead at that point.
She died in the film. Yeah. So
because the Alzheimer's finally finishes her off.
Okay, so Steve's on his own now as an old man because he went back in time, spent out his life with her.
Yeah.
Presumably hid from himself when he knew his younger self was coming to visit that time, and
we don't ask.
Yeah. Or it was a really kinky threesome. So okay, fine. Yeah, no, I had actually completely forgotten.
Steve Rogers is not you.
Could be.
But he isn't.
But he could be.
He's established that throughout the movies with his very strong moral compass.
Oh. Yeah, it's not me. And that's put me off everything I was thinking of saying.
Agent Carter.
Yeah. So they could do another Agent Carter series, is what I was thinking. But this time, a very different Agent Carter series. And like you were saying, that they kind of didn't really deliver on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so you've got sort of more scope to kind of redo what they should have done. I mean, I liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I've not seen the final season yet, because I'm waiting for someone to catch up. And if we ever even get to the end of Farscape, never mind Agents of fucking S.H.I.E.L.D.
Rude.
Yeah, well,
accurate.
2 years and we're 6 episodes into season 3. So, anyway, yeah, so that was cool. So the thing you're talking about was the fact that the series ended as Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which I fucking loved. Oh my god, that was just immense. I loved how they didn't leave it till the last minute to suddenly go, and now Sam is Captain America, like a big ending. From the top of the episode, it was fully embraced.
Yeah.
He had his new outfit out of his suitcase.
Yeah.
Which, again, I adore. That outfit. I think it might have been a skateboard. I'm not sure. Something rolled by out the front.
Oh, that was some really weird thunder.
Yeah, like really weird localized thunder that went from left to right. But right to left. Well, that side to that side, anyway.
Right to left.
Yeah. Unless I do that, and then it was left to right. But yeah, and then he just proceeded to kick ass and stand for everything Cap should stand for the entire episode.
Yeah.
Wow, for a good 25 minutes, because it was like halfway through, and realistically the story was kind of done, and it was just some mopping up to do.
But again, I would also say for that, full credit to the scriptwriter for this episode, because he did all of that while still remaining true to himself as a character, as Sam. This isn't Steve Rogers Mark II. It isn't Steve Rogers Light. It isn't any of that sort of stuff. It is basically, and there was a great, fantastic bit at the end with obviously Sam and Isaiah, which is just kind of cementing that whole thing. This is very much, this is Captain America as a black man bringing all of that sort of emotional resonance of what it means to be black in America, and standing up for the Stars and Stripes. Fucking amazing, absolutely fucking amazing.
His speech to the senator.
Yeah, well, where's the GRC council?
Yeah, the council
was the senator.
Yeah. Just the whole time, it was just taking my breath away. What a phenomenal piece of writing, and what a message to send to
everybody.
To literally everybody. Seriously, but to the people in power in our world today, do better. I mean, Biden's making a great start. Or he appears to be. He's kind of gone quiet. He kind of won the election and vanished. But or just suddenly isn't newsworthy. I don't know. Make of that what you will. But by putting Kamala Harris as a potential first lady in the future, and stuff like that, he is already doing better, certainly than his predecessor, and than a lot of his predecessors, with the exception of in recent history, Michelle's husband.
Obama.
What does it come to, Barack? Thank you. What does it come to that she's now the face of that relationship? I knew her.
To be fair, I actually think that's a good thing.
Well, I mean, Michelle Obama's awesome. I must get around to reading her book. It's not. I don't normally read those kind of things. I don't do a lot of autobiographies or real life stuff, or even grown up books. If it comes to it, I reread Narnia every couple of years. Still, that's my level. But there's just I think Michelle's book is.
I've seen it.
It's the dishwasher. It closes when Ace jumps on it.
I've seen his bookshelf. He does do autobiographies, but they're a very specific subset.
The autobiographies I have are Sybil Shepherd, which was a birthday present, but it was around the time the sitcom Sybil had just finished, which I was obsessed with. David Hasselhoff, which is a must-read for all the
wrong reasons.
Yes, because I to this day I've read it once, and I read odd chapters here and there, and I still cannot work out whether the entire thing is written ironically or genuinely that's what he thinks of himself. It is one of the best comedies you will ever read. I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you ever need to feel better about yourself, read David Hasselhoff's book. That's all I'm saying. I think that's my biography's done, isn't it? I think I've just got the two.
Possibly.
Oh, no, Dawn French. It's signed. I've got a signed copy of Dawn French's, which is done in the form of letters he tells stories about people by writing to people. So she'll write a letter to her brother, her mother, her father, or whatever it is. And every once in a while you get one to Dear Fatty, which is Jennifer Saunders. So yes, I think that genuinely might now be the end of my biography section.
So like I said, a very specific...
And thinking of where they are on the shelf, they're kind of between, I think, the Artemis Fowls and some other young adult books. What's at the other end? Oh no, it's all my my Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland collection, because I've got various copies of Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland, and various like nicely illustrated editions.
Like the Looking Glass Walls and all that sort
of stuff. That's all. Well, no, that's in on top of. But yeah, I have those too. They're not really kids' books. Looking Glass Walls aren't really children's books. They're aimed at. I don't know who they're aimed at. I like them. I love them. They're great. Frank Bader, highly recommend. And this is just turning into book club. Brilliant.
Oh, if you're not being judged by the timer anymore.
Oh, we're not?
No.
Oh, no. Oh, no, I changed the settings.
No, you only have 20 minutes left.
I took us off of UHD 60 frames a second. Took us down to HD... I don't know. I took it off anyway. So
we were being judged by his phone about how long we were spending talking about random shit on these things.
It put a limit. It put a time limit. It was a countdown.
Did. It worked, to be fair.
Well, yeah, obviously. It's not working tonight, is it? Because we were one of the most poignant, most impressive pieces of TV drama forever, and we've suddenly ended up talking about the fact that I've got David Hasselhoff's book. So yes, I think I genuinely I was watching that speech to bring it back,
yes.
And I was honestly thinking of real world people who should watch that scene. I have a horrible feeling they would watch it, still not brush their hair, and not realise it applies to them. And which is the problem in itself, isn't it? But
to hint at possibly just one person out of many,
just one current Prime Minister of Great Britain, because we only have the one.
Biggest current.
Yeah, who I just can't stand. I'm sorry, I'm not even sorry. I just can't stand him at all. But yeah, it's to the point where I guess the only way I can describe it is it actually made me kind of sad and depressed, because I was thinking, this is brilliant. The audiences will get this. The creative people get it. But generally. Maybe not in America. But
I think there's quite a few audience members that won't get it.
Okay. Audience members in my social circle will get it. And then I was just thinking of all the people who just wouldn't. And I was just thinking, oh my God, that... It's like, there it is. There's the problem.
Mm.
And then is it the, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So once you get into any position of power, you lose that perspective. You lose that. I don't know what the answer is. I wish I did.
I've always liked, again, going off on another slight tangent, hopefully a bit shorter. I've always liked Frank Herbert's take on that with the Bene Gesserit, which is obviously a Dune reference.
Scottish Widows.
Yes, the very same. Where it's basically they amend it so it's not power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, but basically power attracts the corruptible, and obviously absolute power attracts the absolutely corruptible. Which is that it's I think it's in a weird kind of way it's a slightly more positive spin on it, because it's basically it's not saying that by being in power you are automatically going to be a corrupt person or you're going to become corrupted by it, which I think is quite a cynical take on it, and also is kind of a barrier to the kind of political change that the kind of speeches that Sam gave in this episode that we've seen in a lot of other shows recently is kind of trying to push people towards. But obviously what it does sort of basically point out is the fact that, generally speaking, if you are attracted to that kind of position, then it's something you need to be mindful of as to why you're attracted to that. And again, I think ironically now thinking about it, it turned out to be slightly less of a tangent than I thought. It goes back to the conversation I had a few episodes back about would you take the super soldier serum, and the different perspectives on it, and what it means to you as a person. If we see John Walker doing an unequivocal yes, I would absolutely take it. And then you get the whole, I think it makes you more of who you are as a person. And also we see how, his story arc went, although he had a bit of redemption at the end. So, it's a bit of a classic redemption arc there, but I think it's kind of
but
going
again,
off into the grey rather than the white.
That's, that leads us nicely into the fact that we do have the US agent now.
Yes.
Complete with sort of black costume, loosely based on Captain America's costume. And has anyone else noticed that he now has a tick? A little,
no,
and so I think it's a Johnny's gonna go nuts.
We are not doing that again. We are not. We did that. Watch the last episode if you want to know what that's all about, because we will be here for the next 25 minutes otherwise, just doing that. And I am just as guilty of feeding that as Muggins here. But I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. But with the tick thing, I mean, I don't know if that's genuine. As in, something like the script writer,
like an acting choice,
or if it's something that who is the character's name who plays John Walker?
Wyatt Russell.
Whether it's something
Kurt Russell's son.
Yes, whether it's something that Wyatt sort of thought to do, but it's absolute genius because it is one of those ones that just gives you. I mean, joking aside with the it is a little visual nod that this is not yes, he had his redemption arc, yes, he came good at the end, but he hasn't completed his journey. He's still not the shining sort of knight that's up for all, that's good and pure and virtuous and American.
See, there's something not quite right with John.
Yes. I told you we would do. That's why we're not doing this anymore.
But the rain stops here because it's afraid of him too.
No. I tried. I genuinely tried.
But it was a delight to have MCU Karen Walker back.
Yes.
Julia,
you are an absolute comic joy.
She probably has 7 minutes the entire season,
and she's a standout for the entire show.
Complete standout character. I mean, that's classic. There's no small parts, just small actors. Fucking thing, isn't it? Dogma. But yes. Just thrilled to think that there's more of her to come.
Yeah.
That's just But I think again, use her sparingly because I don't think. I think oversaturating.
It wouldn't work.
You'd have to add so much depth to her that it would take away the joy of that.
She's essentially the lemon sorbet character for this show.
Yeah, I'm trying to I'm trying to think of the word acerbic. Is that what she is?
Yes.
Yeah, so you'd lose that, I think. Also, she kind of reminds me of Becca, who I work with.
Okay.
She's got this whole no bullshit. No. About her, which is just awesome.
And she's and again, obviously, Julia's no stranger to comedy, or Seinfeld for that matter. See what I did there? I'm not a fan of Seinfeld.
You're implying Seinfeld isn't funny?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Never seen it, couldn't tell you.
Thank you for spelling out the joke there, which, as we know, is totally not the fucking garlic to vampires of comedy. And now I can forget where I was going to go with this. Oh, yes, that's right, yes. So obviously she is no stranger to comedy, but she absolutely fucking nailed the whole, sort of... Eddie Izzard does a lot of it and is, again, very good. The...
Yeah.
Routine.
The whole, it was my idea, or was it? But maybe it was. Was it there? But it was. Yeah. I just want to, despite the fact that I don't want them to overuse her and Borg Queen her, but because the Borg Queen.
No. I was putting a phrase because I agree with you.
Right. Okay.
Before you go on,
I thought you were doing a whole. Oh, what do you mean by that?
No, as in Borg Queen. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Well, just the Borg generally, and see also Weeping Angels,
Daleks, Cybermen. the Doctor.
I don't think that's kind of her show. So, yeah, I think Daleks were always shit. Always. Just always. Cybermen generally kind of...
My light.
I was going to do my reflector. Bollocks.
Yeah,
not getting it out now.
But we already established that there's actually nowhere really to put it where it makes any kind of
what I
appreciable
could have
difference.
done was possibly put it over there, so that light reflected over here at us.
I hope you appreciate my attempt to distract from Doctor Who there. Anyway, you were saying.
All right. I'll say it now.
But and again, I think kind of going back to obviously the episode that this is meant to be a review of.
Whatever.
Get over it, you fucking drama queen. Because again, it's I'd like to think, because this kind of ties in with what you were saying as well about how audience will get it, and we know from like fan reaction to some of the like more recent movies like Captain Marvel, Black Panther, that there is going to be a whole subset of Marvel fans out there that won't get it because it's not about white men saving the world.
The same people comic book guy on The Simpsons is based on.
Basically.
In Doctor Who land, we call them Ming Mongs.
Yes. But sort of, this is another, I think, again, show like that. But there's obviously a lot of stuff that speaks to us, but I think there's also absolute, and this is something that neither one of us are even remotely sort of capable of probably fully appreciating, in much the same way that sort of the fan reaction to Black Panther in terms of what it meant if you were African American, for Captain Marvel if you were a young girl who was dreaming about growing up to be whatever you wanted to grow up to be. I think this is probably in a similar vein to that. There's going to be a lot of like the black experience living in a predominantly white society that this show very obviously touches on, in terms of like a lot of the interactions between Sam and Isaiah, between Sam and Bucky, and sort of just Sam and a lot of people in positions of power. That I think if you are African American, if you're of any particular sort of black racial subgroup, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world where the dominant culture around you is a white culture, that probably speaks to you on a level that we're not going to appreciate, in the same way that we can watch a show about homophobia or biphobia, and sort of take from it like sort of shared experiences that like the larger viewing population wouldn't. So yeah, I'm absolutely stoked that they have got to do a show like this where it's not just speaking to that particular overly catered subset of the fan base.
Yeah, and bear in mind, this is essentially Disney money.
Yeah.
Disney have not got the cleanest record when you go back 80, 90 years.
Walt.
I don't think you've even got to go that far. And you haven't got to point in that direction necessarily. They've been a bit whitewashy in the past and stuff like that. But I think it's wonderful that they're making such strides now. God, probably belching half through a really important speech. Brilliant, Robinson. Well done. I just think I don't think it's to be ignored that this is Disney doing this. Is what I'm trying to say. I think it's massively. Massive step forward. On a ground grassroots level, Disney's always been very inclusive. The statistic is something like, I'm pulling the number out as it was told to me. I don't have backup for this, but I've been to the park. I can well believe it. But 63% of Disney World employees are LGBTQ+. Let's face it. It's a perfect place because there is no, Disney World is its own little reality. Living within a Disney bubble is.
Let's face it, if you're LGBTQ, you're no stranger to having to live in your own reality just to protect you from the fucking outside world.
There is that, yeah. And also, we like glitter and rainbows. I don't know, that's a stereotype. But it's the thing that interests me about that is, so why is that? Why is it that 60% of Disney World employees, but not 60% of McDonald's employees? Do you know what I mean? It's. I think it's an interesting. There's some sort of correlation about either the mindset or the lifestyle or something. There has to be. I've just never looked deep into it. There's a paper in that somewhere if you bothered. I'm too fucking lazy. And
let's face it, you're not about to write an academic paper on that sort of subject matter.
I'm not about to write an academic paper on anything. Listen, there's a reason I was a radio creator for 15 years, because the scripts were 30 seconds long. It was perfect for my attention span.
He puts himself down because I've seen some of the stuff he comes out with, and there is a level of skill that's involved in that is just completely alien to me.
What, my radio ads?
Just the ability to come up with what you come up with, because it's not just the radio ads, because literally we've had conversations where I will make some passing comment. Actually, this is back in the early days of when we sort of were first kind of dating while we were still living in separate places. I would make some comment, and like literally the next email I'd get from Muggins here, bear in mind this would have been about 15-20 minutes after I'd sent mine, would be like essentially a massive long poem that scanned brilliantly, that rhymed, that was funny, that hit all the right notes, just based on a throwaway comment I'd made in the last email, because his brain had just gone tick, 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 boom.
But that's what my brain does.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying is a good thing. Because my brain doesn't do that, and I would be fucking stumped. So the fact that someone wouldn't necessarily write an academic paper is not because you're too thick, it's just because your brain works different.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm not saying... I wasn't implying I thought I was thick. I'm just implying that... boring. Who wants to write an academic paper on anything, ever? The longest thing I ever wrote was...
I bet yours would be a hoot, though.
It would take the piss. It would be funny, because I'd have to make it funny, otherwise I'd kill myself. But the longest thing I ever wrote that I had any kind of passion for, and I can't remember how long it had to be. Whatever the extended essay is for A-level English literature.
Oh yes, I remember that. I think it had to be something like 10,000 words.
I doubt it was that much. I would never have managed it. I want to say it was 3,000. Now I'm saying that doesn't sound like an awful lot, given there's a couple of hundred in your 30-second radio commercial. Anywho.
Yeah. Well, mine was 10,000.
Oh, maybe mine was then.
The year after you? No, 2 years after.
You'd have been before me, because I didn't do mine until I was 25.
Oh, I'm talking about like general syllabus-y type stuff.
Right, okay. And I wrote mine. This has nothing to do with what we're supposed to be talking about. I wrote mine. Well,
surprise!
It comes back into the video. It comes back into the video, because I wrote mine about Narnia. There you go. And it was, I took all 7 books and I pulled out all of the parallels between the Bible and explained how they worked and this, that, and the other.
Were there that many?
Oh, yes. You try and go 3 pages without there being one. Oh, you're being sarcastic.
Yes.
Oh, right. I didn't get that.
Oh, dear God, yes.
I didn't get that. I mean, obviously, the Lion was in the wardrobe, which is why when we did it on stage and they tried to cut Aslan's death scene, and I was like, you're essentially cutting the crucifixion out of Jesus Christ Superstar. Would you do that? And I got looks from the rest of the creative team who knew nothing of the books. And I just sat there being all sort of like important on my own ass. I was 27. What did I know?
It's judgy.
Yeah, well, I do it so well. But it's like, oh, you can't. You seriously cannot cut the stone table scene. What the fuck? Actually, I think I did it with the... yeah. So we loved Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I'm hoping there is a second season or a movie. I don't know quite what the slate is production-wise.
Yeah,
I've lost track, if I'm honest, with Marvel.
I've genuinely nothing that I've seen in terms of what the schedule is / was / will be indicates that...
Was that will be, will there ever were. Trunkety, trunkety, true.
Yes. It's a complete mystery why he's got a fucking Dawn French by through autobiography up there.
Look, I can do most of the sketches. It's just...
What do you mean most of them?
I can't do all of them. I can't do series 5.
He actually has got a specific series that he knows he can't do. That tells you everything you need to know about him and Dawn French. Literally everything. That's all I'm saying on the matter. Now I can put. Oh yes, so roadmap thing. Yes, nothing I've seen gives any indication that any of these are kind of either even going to be a second season, or certainly that they're actually going to be like film properties in their own right. But that having been said, I do think, because this is kind of briefly what we were talking about on the
20 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about before we started
okay.
filming. But it was also probably about 20 minutes ago when we mentioned it in passing.
No one's going to sit through this for half an hour, are they, really?
I don't really care.
No one's still watching. If you are still watching, either text me if you have my number, or comment on the video, blurb. Single word, blurb. You've even got to spell it right.
I love how he does this while I'm like trying to make a point. And then gets pissy when I do it to him.
Whose channel is it?
Ours. Do you really want to go down that road? Because you know how it will end up.
I'm just saying whose email address is on it. You know.
Oh, that's fine. You can deal with all the comments.
I do.
Anyway, I'm done.
There's been at least 3. So yeah, we loved it. We love the episode. We love the series. We love what they're doing. And we just would really, we just, want to see more. And we hope that I can't imagine they're going to fuck it up. They've been going since 2008 with Iron Man 1, and there's not been, there's been the odd film that's been a bit Iron Man 2, Dark World. But
there hasn't been a film
there's not been a film I've hated.
There's not even been a film that I've just gone, yeah. There
hasn't been a Joss Whedon's Justice League. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, long may it rain.